All right, says we're live.
All righty.
So hello to anybody that's in YouTube land in the chats. Let us know that you're there if you're there. And we know that YouTube takes a little bit. YouTube land in the chats. Let us know. Is that you or is that me?
That was me.
Oh,
It's I'm still
me.
a rookie.
That's when you can time and see how long the delay is. How long from when you first start talking to when you start to hear the feedback.
I didn't even think about that.
That's when you know.
That's cool.
So I'm trying on mine. I'm just getting this circle spinning on my YouTube so I can mute it. So I'm going to go back to StreamYard and it's probably going to start playing. If it does, I'll have to pop over and mute it.
No worries.
But we do know that YouTube takes a little bit to give people notifications that somebody has gone live. So hopefully some few people will pop in. But I do notice that my view counter goes up a lot after my interviews and after I've gone live. So people will come back and watch and get to know Michael, the Thrifting Goomba.
Yes, they will. So how are you?
I'm pretty good. Yep, there it is. My YouTube finally decided to catch up and play.
There's some dude in the chat.
I know. I see that we have some guy named Brian. It's funny, I see it in the YouTube chat, but it hasn't popped up in my
StreamYard. Yeah, it's amazing how it is. It's funny. It's the delay is both ways, right? The delay. It's like the voice is delayed on YouTube, but then the chat is delayed on StreamYard.
It is so weird, and I know that. So I just got done playing bingo, and there is like such a large chat, a large delay that I can't even look at the StreamYard chat for YouTube because that delay is like. So, I mean, there's already a delay, and then there's even more of a delay when you use that versus if you're looking at YouTube's chat itself. But yeah, because somebody will call bingo, and then I'll still go like 6 or 7 numbers before I even know that somebody called bingo. So yeah, it's crazy. But I see we have Brian here, and I'm pretty sure it's you he's calling a troublemaker and not me.
I'm sure he is, or he's calling himself a troublemaker.
That is probably correct. Or it's all three of us.
One of those Bayou boys.
Yeah. That is it. Let's see. Why don't you, because I'm not sure how many are going to pop into the chat while we get going. And so why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you and who Michael is.
So I'm Michael, like I said, Thrifting Goomba and everything. Been a reseller for, June will make 3 years technically. But honestly, I'm thinking I go more by June of 2018 because that first year I never really took anything too serious. There was one sale that I had that was kind of like that aha moment. This thing could be pretty cool. But other than that first year, not knowing what you were doing. And, I went ahead and, like I said, started in June, and I didn't go to my first thrift store until October or September of that year.
Were you selling just stuff from around your house? Is that how you got started? Like just saying, "Oh, I have this. I'm gonna throw it up on eBay."
My first sale was a T-shirt from my daughter that she wasn't wearing anymore, and then I had a couple other little things. It was just stuff that I had around the house, and it's true when you think about it, because it's a thing that you tell a lot of brand new sellers. Like when you see people posting on Facebook or asking questions, on Instagram and all the other kind of stuff, or chats of YouTube, you say to them, hey, you don't need money in reality to start, on eBay, Mercari, those sites. You get the stuff that you have around the house, get used to it, understand it before you jump in and you start buying stuff.
Right. Yeah. That's exactly how I got started, because we were moving and I just said, hey, I'm going to start throwing some of these items up. I had a bottle of cologne for my husband. I said, just for, giggles, I'm going to look this up on eBay. And I was shocked at how much that bottle of cologne was selling for.
Yeah. So, and when I first started, it was really supposed to be me and my son. Because at that point he was 17. So he was going into his senior year in high school, and then we was like, hey, you got to get a job, you got to do something and everything. And he was not a very outgoing person and stuff. So, I knew it was going to be hard and everything. So I said, hey, why don't we do this together? And honestly, well, you can see, but basically right over my right shoulder over this way, we had the card table. We had a white sheet for our white background, and just use the lights that are shine right now and everything. So we were not, we were, as I guess, as low tech could be. We had a Nikon camera. He was taking pictures with that. We weren't even doing the phones or anything. And then we take the the SD card out, put it in, and played around with eBay thing a little bit and stuff. And but unfortunately he kind of stopped, weaned. It was like, so on and so forth and stuff. And and I was like, well, I had all this stuff listed. Not, it wasn't a lot, but I mean, we probably had about, I don't know, 25, 30 things from around the house, that we had grabbed. I mean, when you have kids and stuff, like I said, the t-shirts and the shorts and those types of things, because they were outgrowing them. So they were like,
Did you give him the money? Did you give him the money for whatever was his that he listed and helped you sell?
We did a 50-50 split on everything.
Okay.
Because, like he was the picture guy, and it was my daughter stuff. It was, my daughter, I have two daughters, so it was their stuff also. And we just, like I said, it just wasn't for him, which is fine, and, but, you talk about that, like that one aha moment that you have. And I had the aha moment, but then the aha kind of stopped and everything, my wife wanted a new radio for her car. So we went, bought a new radio, and a good friend of ours, his, he knows how to put the radios in. So he did the radios. He did it right in our driveway and everything. And he came walking in the house. I was sitting, in the chair right here doing some stuff, working on some stuff. And he's like, hey, well, here's the old radio. And I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to do with this radio? And I just put it on the table. I mean, it didn't even click in my head of what to do with the radio. And then finally, I don't know why, but I was like, wait a minute. Why can't I try eBay? And I looked it up, and there was only one that was on an auction. And the guy had started the auction at like $40. And it was a 10-day auction. There was 3 days left, and he was up to like $90-something. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Man, we got this radio. It's already paid for. Man, if I can get $90, that would be awesome. But I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait. I got the listing ready. I waited. But I said, I'm not going to start mine until his has 1 day left. And I'm not going to start at 39. I'm going to start like at 70 something.
Right. Yeah. Good thinking.
Again, I had no idea what I was doing. It just was like, hey, this might work. Who knows? And after 10 days, that radio closed out at $238 in an auction.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And I was like, oh my goodness. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. This works. Holy cow.
And you think about in the past how many things you would have just maybe even just thrown away because you weren't using, and you just don't know where, like, we don't have a lot of places to donate stuff around here. So I just think back of all of the stuff I've thrown away over the years.
Yep.
And how I could have sold it.
Yeah. And that was basically, the beginning and stuff. and we were M&M sales, which we still are on eBay and stuff. And then I started doing more and doing more. And I said, I really want to do this, want to turn it into something. And was going back and forth between, names, because I knew I was going to, I wanted to start to do YouTube. I wanted to, do Instagram and all kind of stuff. And I started thinking of some different names and everything. And I had 2 different names that I was looking at. And the Thrifting Goomba just went ahead and came out. And a lot of it has to do is because the guys I play baseball with, called me Goomba. So I was like, hey, all right, Goomba, the Thrifting Goomba, that'll work. And
what is a Goomba?
It's a friend, buddy.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, okay.
My guy, that type of thing.
Italian? Is that an Italian word for friend? Oh, okay.
Yep.
You'd think I would know that with the last name Agostino, but I'm not Italian. I'm just married to Italians.
Yeah. Same way, same as my wife. My wife is German and Irish.
Yep. I see that Brian says that he started with old computer parts years ago.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that seems like a lot of the men that I see on YouTube that talk about reselling, they're really big into electronics, and they focus a lot on, I know one of the questions that I hear all the time is if you were to walk into, and I think I commented on your video from last night, if you walk into a thrift store, what section do you go to first? And so many of them are, electronics.
Yeah.
Like I walk into electronics and I'm just like, what is all this silver junk in front of me? Like I don't even know what any of it is. And I've tried to learn by watching some videos, but there's not really a lot of like how-to videos on learning electronics. It's more of, at least from what I've seen and found, there's just a lot of people talking about how they sell electronics, but there's not like, what do you even look for? Because I just don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right and stuff. I mean, and what you notice is, I mean, quite honestly, the thing that when I go to electronics and I go to where, they have all the VCRs and CD players and DVD players, the first thing I look for is just the combo units. That's the first thing I look for.
Oh, yeah. Those are things I do look for.
And stuff like that. And I'll look that up and everything. Then the second thing for me, what I look for is I'll look at the DVDs, but I'll look at like the Blu-rays or the progressive scan ones, and then the names also. You want to look at your Sony, you want to look at, certain brands and stuff like that. And that's a big thing, when you go in there and you see, Dynex, you go, okay, don't need to worry about that one. You know what I'm saying? Like if you see, some Toshibas, but what's cool about those is they're so easy to look up.
Yeah, most of them have model numbers, makes it easy.
Boom, boom, and you're done and everything. But I spend more time looking at some of the smaller electronics also, because that's what I'm looking at from a standpoint of, shipping and all the other kind of stuff. I mean, I don't want to, worry about having to ship the big, heavy stuff. Not that I don't mind doing it, but, it's some of that stuff is competitive to where you either have to, what kind of shipping? Am I using FedEx? Am I using UPS? And so on and so forth. So from my perspective, I mean, I always check them. If I happen to go ahead and, get one and find one that is good, then I'll go ahead and do it, but the other thing is, like most of the places by me, you don't have the remotes. And then you got to decide, okay, wow, this one does sell well, but should I buy a remote? Should I list it without a remote? So you're doing those type of things, but I look for the other thing, like, Sony Walkmans.
Yeah, that's definitely a bolo list for me is the Walkmans.
The little cassette, the micro cassette players, and I tell you, when, a lot of people, when they think electronics, a lot of them, is thinking of, the bigger stuff. Hey, Attar, how are you, buddy?
I see Attar joined us. Welcome.
And a lot of people overlook things. I mean, one of my best ones that I found again, the big bags of electronics is something like, I like to have the grab and go bags. Some stores have small ones. a couple of the stores by me, they do gigantic bags. I
Wow.
mean, and I picked up a bag, and I've sold 2 items out of that so far, and I paid $6.99 for the bag. One of them was a Sony micro cassette that I sold for $69 alone.
Wow.
And then I had a Wii power supply that I sold, and I have a couple other things listed from there, waiting to go ahead and sell and everything. So when you look at when I figured out the number of sellable items that there were, I wound up going ahead and having what 18 cents into each item.
Yeah,
So
that is great.
yeah, from that standpoint and everything. I mean, but that's what, from an electronics standpoint, I see, Brian says, video games, and they all talk about that type of stuff, and to me, I just don't know enough about them to be able to look the way a lot of other people can look.
Yeah, I used to look up all the video games and hoping I'd find some, and I just got to the point where I was like, "Oh my gosh, none of them were ever worth anything."
Yeah.
So I don't even look. I figured I'll just leave that for somebody else's niche, and they can look and find the golden ones.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like with me, like there's like 3 names I know to look for. Now, just like you, I might pass games that are $30, $40 games, but I don't know enough to go, oh my gosh, that's one. Like I know specific names, you look for, like the NCAA football, 14. I think there was one, is it Nemesis? I forgot what it was. There's another one, but the game goes for like $200 or something on a certain system. But I also know, okay, hey, if you see something with Mario, always take a peek at that.
Right, Mario and Pokemon, I'll look those up, especially if they're the older systems.
Yeah, but after that, I'm done. And it's almost like when with Jason T. Smith, when he can go look at CDs, and he can go somewhere and look at a rack of CDs, in 35 minutes,
yeah,
and know exactly what to do and everything. And with me, I don't know.
I think what helps with him, and he's going to be on the channel actually in a couple weeks. Jason T. Smith will be here in my chat time. Is he has such a strong niche. Like he'll dabble in other things, but he has focused himself so much into tiki, into CDs, anything music, or actually not just CDs, but just music, anything, that it's made it so he really knows when he sees things, and he's been doing it for so long that I dibble dabble in so much stuff that I know a little bit about I know a little about a lot of stuff, but not a lot about a little bit.
Yeah,
Right.
No, you're 100% correct. And when I look at it from a standpoint, like if I go and I look at CDs, there's basically 2 things that when I go through the stack, or however many it is, the first thing I always do is I don't care who it is. If it's wrapped, I just throw it right in my shopping cart. I'm not going to buy it, but I throw it in there.
Right.
And the second thing I'll do is I'll look, and Atar makes a good point about like color of the week. I'll look at the color of the week and see. And then I look for obscure stuff that I'd be like, what the heck is this? And who is it? You know what I mean? And it's amazing some of the stuff, I mean, 2 of my, 2 CDs. I mean, I've sold a bunch of CDs, but 2 of them, they were brand new. And I was like, who is this? And looked it up, and I was like, holy cow. And another one was just, I don't know, it's like group out of like Wisconsin. No idea. Number one, no idea why a sealed CD from a group for Wisconsin is in the thrift store, down here. But I sold to a guy who got it for his wife for a birthday present, and it was the one CD out of that whole band's category. I mean, out of their whole, catalog that she didn't have, and he was buying it for a birthday present. But the only reason why I looked at it is the name, and I was like, all right, weird name. I'll take a look at stuff. So I'm getting better from that standpoint. of just knowing, typically, anybody with a name, you basically go by.
When it comes to
pass
CDs,
right
that's
up.
one thing I learned.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't recognize the name, then look it up.
Yep.
If it's Celine Dion, go just pass. No sense
Yeah.
of looking. Although I will look up, there was a Taylor Swift.
Yep.
That's pretty popular right now. A few other ones that I've learned that maybe it's worth at least looking up, but most of them I just go by. But I do exactly what Atar says. What you were talking about too is look at the new color. For any hot topics where when you walk into a thrift store, there are booksellers. So I will not sit there and scan a lot of I used to, but I just don't because it was so time consuming to come up with very few books.
Yep.
That I would only scan now the new color because the old colors have probably been scanned over the last few weeks. So why even bother? So I'll look at the new color.
Yeah, and I tell you, I didn't have a lot of time. Yes, so Goodwill by me opened up yesterday for the first time since they shut down and stuff. And I got there online. I was the second one online. I could have been the first one online, but I decided to sit in the car. The only reason why I was the second one online was I was sitting there and another person pulled up and they pulled through the parking lot and the guy got out of his car. And you could tell he had the mask. He was getting ready with the glove. I mean, you could tell that he was not going there to find himself a shirt for Saturday night.
Right.
So as soon as I saw him get out of his car, I quickly got out of mine and I started to walk over and I got, online and everything. But like I said, even like last night in the show, I was surprised how crappy the electronics were.
Wow.
I mean, I literally was surprised. I mean, there was, from an electronic standpoint, I got one thing. I got a brand new in box, still sealed. The AT&T, portable phones that you have in your house, the base station. I think it has a main station, two phones, and a the external little station that you would keep in another room and everything. From an electronic standpoint, that's the only place that was really it. I did go look at the video games and I grabbed two of them that I thought were going to be okay. They were nothing.
Do you think it's because, they just opened, but nobody's been there working to restock all the shelves. So I bet you as they go through the donations that are coming in now, over the next week, you'll start to see some gems popping up.
Yeah. So I'll probably go back on Saturday to go ahead and take another peek through and stuff. But I hit now. I don't know how. I know you said you don't have any Goodwills where you are, and I don't know what it's like.
Right,
but so the Goodwill that I go to, which, like I said, which is not a very large Goodwill. The toy aisle is just two sides, but it's only probably 12 to 15 feet on either side, so it's not very large. But the problem, which is good and it's bad. It's good because you don't have, you're not worrying about 3 or 4 aisles to go down. It's bad because it takes you longer to go through it because they only have those 2 aisles. So they shove the crap in there every which way they could and everything. And I was walking through and I actually got 2 remote control cars that I don't even know what kind. I mean, I know what kind. I don't know what kind they are, but I looked them up so I know that they have, value and stuff. I buy the big bags, like they had action figures and all that other kind of stuff in one bag and animals. Another bag, they had all kinds of cars and they had John Deere, like little, metal tractors and even like larger ones and stuff, go through all that kind of stuff. But I was walking down the aisle and I went down the aisle 4 times. Just because it was getting so packed, that, people were like starting to be like sardines. And I'm just like, guys, can you back away just a little bit and stuff? So I would leave the aisle and everything. And the last time I went through, I was looking over and I was going down and I looked and I caught the corner of a small bag. And I was like, And when I picked up the bag that was on top of it, there was a whole bunch of more little bags underneath there. And what I picked up yesterday at 80 cents, well, 79 cents each. And I think I have to double check my count, but I think it's about 85 Happy Meal Barbies from 1990, 91, and 92
Wow.
in original packaging.
Wow. So you paid, so it was 89 cents for each of them?
Yeah. It was
Yeah, or 70, whatever
for
it was.
each one.
Wow.
And I don't know if you know the Buffalo Picker or if you heard about Buffalo Picker.
I haven't. No.
His name is Tommy, man. He is awesome.
Is
Awesome.
he from Buffalo, New York?
No. It has to do with he's an he's a military guy, still works for the government down here. Ciao, Dana.
Yeah. Hey, Dana. Welcome. If you have any questions for Michael, let us know.
Yeah. Definitely look him up. Watch some of his stuff.
What did you call it? Buffalo what?
Buffalo Picker. His name is Tommy, Buffalo Picker. Now, here's the thing. When you look him up, you're going to be like, holy cow. I mean, military guy, this, that, and the other thing. His niche, his forte, Barbie dolls.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And I'm telling you, when you look up Tommy and you see his picture and you watch one of his videos, you're going to go, no way. That's the Barbie guy? Well, yeah. So I was on Instagram trying to direct message him yesterday. And we were going back and forth and everything. And he's like, I'm not sure. He goes, what years are they? So I told him, he goes, get every one that you can. So I grabbed all of them. And it was funny at checkout because I just kept going back, grabbing a handful. And I brought my IKEA bags with me. So I have basically one of those IKEA bags filled with Barbies. Hey, Maggie Doodle.
Yeah. Did you, how much were they worth? Did you look them up? I heard you mention them, but I haven't looked to see.
Well, I have to go through. I have to what do you call it? Lot them up by the years, by the series.
I was going to ask you did he tell you that was the best way to do it?
Yeah, he said he said make as many lots as you can, full series. And he said, you will do fine at that price. He said, because even the ones that have only a series of 5, because you'll probably sell those for, $20 to $25.
Wow.
So I'm going to turn less than $4 or $5, but less than $5, into that. I'll take that. They're not going to be expensive to ship. Even if I do free shipping, they're all light. I mean, if you buy a set of 5, I believe, that's still only going to be, it should still be less than a pound.
Yeah.
Probably get them in an 8x6x4 box and stuff,
I love that size box. I sold some little tiny Briar horse things, a 4-pack of those today that I bought boxed up, and they fit perfectly in that 864 box. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was great. And it did go first class. So I would think you'd be able to get quite a few of them into a box to go first class. Now, are those the ones that are they all plastic or, cause I think my daughter used to have some that were Barbie and it was like a mold, one whole piece mold of a Barbie, or do they have movable arms and legs?
I didn't research them, or I didn't look at all of them that closely, but I think most of them are, more like little statuettes, I guess.
Okay. I think it is what I have in my mind.
But I mean, like I said, I couldn't believe it. I saw it and I was like, wow. Okay, the heck with it. I'm grabbing every single one of them.
Yeah, that's an awesome find. I love finds like that.
Yeah. And it's I mean, it was interesting going there yesterday. I got yelled at by a lady who thought I was encroaching on her, but we were waiting to check out. They opened up the register by the jewelry, but no jewelry sales, no sunglasses. Are those the only 2 items I think that they weren't selling? I'm not sure about hats, but those 2 for sure. So they have the jewelry aisle, cases completely empty. So the lady's sitting over there. Now, from the jewelry aisle to the first aisle to the where you can actually get near clothes is probably about 10 feet wide. So there's a lady at the register. I pull up, I go to the end of the jewelry counter, and the lady's finishing up at the register. So I literally took one step. And the lady who's by the jackets 10 feet away turns and looks at me and she's like, "Where are you going? What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm just trying to check out." "Well, so am I. I can't believe it. You should go ahead and back up." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, you're like 15 feet away from the register. I'm so sorry. I
Yeah.
apologize."
Unless they make a mark. I like the stores that have marks on the ground so you know, okay, I'm going to stand here on this blue line, this blue line,
Yeah.
this blue line, because it's
Yeah.
I've had to ask people at Walmart, like, are you in line? Because I don't know if you're waiting for somebody or if you're really just keeping a 20-foot distance from
Yeah.
the person in front of you.
Yeah, it's
So what's your best place to thrift? I know you said you have the Goodwill, and I'm assuming you have Savers since you say they bag up stuff. I know Savers is really popular for
we
bag.
don't have Savers. We
Oh, you don't?
you know,
Okay.
the other two chains per se that we have that you met that you know that are Value Village, which and I think Value Village is maybe like a subsidiary of Savers, maybe, or something like that. And I think that's maybe why we don't have Savers.
That's weird. I thought Value Village was the name of it in Canada, and it was called Savers in the United States. So I guess I'm wrong with that. What I thought.
We have that. We have there are a couple of Salvation Armies. There's one over here that is kind of local, but they have a bunch of them called Park Avenue Thrift. And you know they're okay. Then there's a couple of mom and pop ones, but those are so hit and miss. Like you don't even. It's like I go in if I'm like I'll go in if I'm passing by. You know, like I don't make a trip just to go there because I think I probably there's one that's not too far from my house. I think I've gone in there maybe a dozen times, and I think I've bought two things. Most of the times you walk in and walk out with nothing. But what I like about those stores is sometimes I will actually look more at the clothes. Like the Goodwills, unless it catches my eye, I won't look at a Goodwill at clothes anymore. I mean, I won't. I really won't do that. I mean, I'll always walk down where the jersey aisle is just to see if they have anything, but very rare. Do they have any jerseys? Because that's but in the local mom and pops, those I'll actually go through the clothes with a little more detail because there you might find that Pendleton shirt or a Patagonia shirt or something like that. From that standpoint.
Yeah, that's what I find with like the church run thrift stores because you have some of the parishioners that are pretty loyal and on donating there. That I think they sometimes you'll find just some higher end items that
you
won't find at the Goodwill. Yep.
Yeah, I've only had there's our church does a garage sale type thing. So my problem with garage sales, and whether it be a rummage sale at at a church or something, a lot of those are held on Saturdays. Well, Saturday is the day, like the big day to go and stuff. And what winds up happening is Saturdays during the spring and during the summertime and even part of the fall are tough for me because I coach baseball and I play baseball. All that happens on Saturday. So it's kind of hard, to now it's funny. So like the only time I've gone to a church rummage sale is if we've had rain and the games were canceled. And I'll go.
Well, so I know you have a full-time job.
Yep.
And is that a Monday through Friday job?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's Monday through Friday. But if we have project work that has to be done, most of our projects get done over the weekends.
Oh, okay.
So I will have to go somewhere over the weekend. But that's not that bad because, if we get done on Saturday, then we have all day Sunday, and I will go look for, thrift stores to look at.
Right. Yeah. I've known
And
you've done that for a while. One of the things that I found over here, up here in upstate New York, northern New York, is that a lot of people have their garage sales on Thursdays and Fridays now, and they're not even doing them on Saturdays.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really weird. Or if they open on Saturdays, they close by noon. So I'm like, well, what about the working people? When do they get to hit the garage sales? But I'm surprised on Fridays I'll head out and I'll go out on Thursdays and again on Friday, and I'm just surprised by the number of people that are out garage sailing during the weekday.
Yeah, so down here, you have a lot more subdivisions, and so you'll have a lot more subdivision sales. Like
I love those.
which is great because, if you have, you just, boom, you just, and what's cool is down here, a lot of them will have like little map. They'll have a map of the subdivision, and they'll put, dots on the map of the houses that are participating. Some will actually on the back of the page give you some idea of, like they'll put the store at the house address, and there's like a little, hey, this one has, tools and, a little, just like a little blurb of, the things that you may find and stuff, which is cool, but again, those, I don't, there's one that's huge. I mean, the subdivision is like 250 houses.
Oh my gosh.
And when they have them, they'll probably be 75, 80 houses that'll participate, but they usually do it on a Saturday. And
I think I need to take a road trip to Georgia.
Yeah.
When there's garage sales happening, just so I can hit up garage sales.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, like I said, there's especially where I am. I'm in East Cobb. I'm in Cobb County, and I'm in the east side of Cobb County and stuff. And, there's a lot of big homes here. There's a lot of expensive homes here, but it's funny, you will go to some of these and, you'll ask somebody. Like I forgot, I went to a garage sale and the lady had two Patagonia vests hanging up, So I just walked up to her. I mean, I walked up and I was like, hey, how much are the Patagonia vests? Well, if you're going to try and resell them, then I need to get this.
Wow. I have never had anybody call me out as a reseller when I've been garage selling.
Yeah.
Or even mention it. Probably because there's hardly any resellers around here.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Bye.
So I know that you also sell on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's how we met is through Amazon selling. Of course, with times changing and things are just so different. Do you prefer to sell on Amazon, or do you like the thrill of the hunt when it comes to eBay and finding those Barbie dolls from 1990?
I'm going to say right now, it's still a little more eBay. But the reasoning is not necessarily the thrill of the hunt for eBay. It's to be able to, really track down and go hunting for product to send into Amazon. I don't have that kind of time to, get in the car and hit, 30 Walmart stores or 30, whatever Targets or whatever, whatever, I just don't have the time, the ability to do that. So it makes it harder for me, to really take advantage, of trying to find those products for Amazon. I do like the idea of that I can, put a bunch of crap in a box, send it to them, and then be done with it, and not have to deal with, customer service and a lot of other kind of stuff, and hey, where's my stuff? And so, those types of things. But that's that. But then there's that trade-off, of, not necessarily of hoping that Amazon does the right thing when they take your thing and they put it in a box. because typical Amazon, they'll take this and they'll throw this, in a 15 by 10 by 8 box with a couple of, air pillows and ship it off and everything. And the thing bounces around, so there's always that type of thing that, that I get concerned about, with Amazon.
Yeah,
I do like both.
Yeah, I would think though with working, so one of the reasons I started doing Amazon was to get away from having to ship stuff all the time, where I could just ship a box load of, 100 items, multiple boxes to Amazon and let them do all the shipping, customer service. And of course right now I'm doing a lot more shipping on my own, but I would think that being a full-time employee for somebody else also, that it's a little easier to do Amazon because you can focus, get all the stuff, send it off, and then not have to worry about it throughout the week when you're working.
No, I mean, you're 100% correct, for sure. I mean, it definitely, it is easier from that standpoint. It's just the fact I'm saying though is that
you got to go find the 100 items, and
I got to go ahead and find them. So to me, when I can go out, if it takes me, a week, 10 days, because, I could only hit, 2 Walmarts tonight, and then I have to, come home and then 2 tomorrow night and so on and so forth. So by the time I hit those 10, 12 Walmarts, it's 6 days have gone by, hoping that the products that I found on night 1 are still going to go ahead and, be effective and everything to send in. But I think the ability to do what you're saying is of being able to find 100 things. They don't have to be the same thing, but find 100 things and get them in and put them into those 2 boxes, slap labels on them and send them away. I like that part. I think, I'd love to get to the point where I could do more, some wholesale stuff. But the problem you have with that is the truth of the matter, and at least in my opinion, and it may be completely different from everybody else, but in my opinion, you need to be able to buy a lot to get a good price, to be able to make it worth your while to prep it all and mail it into Amazon and then have them, take their big chunk and so on and so forth. I understand the whole ROI thing and stuff, but I still look at it from a standpoint of it says, and it's probably weird, but I don't mind, doing finding 100 things and doing all the prep work and so on and so forth, but if I'm going to spend $6 on it and I'm going to make $2, I know that's still a good ROI percentage, but for me, that's just kind of, hard to look at.
Yeah, I think it's really hard. I've looked into wholesale and I've done some wholesale, but wholesale is tough to find a product. And then if you create your own listing, you got to have, I think it just takes so much more time to do wholesale. You got to do pay-per-click. You got to get the stuff there. Unless you're able to find, Starbucks coffee and you can find it at really affordable and you don't have to do much pay-per-click because people are already searching for it.
Right.
It's not so bad, but you're right. You make $2 for something, which leaves very little wiggle room for somebody who's going to come in and just drop the price, or Amazon jumps on it and you've just invested $10,000 on wholesale order. And now Amazon has dropped their price down to take away your $2 profit that you were making on it.
Yeah. And that's the other part about, with Amazon and everything, with, the sellers and the repricing and stuff. And, like I said, one of the bad thing about Amazon is with more people trying Amazon is because you tend to spend more on I know you have the clearance items, right? And I get that and everything. But again, those are those things where, it's going to be hard for you to go to, Walmart, go to a clearance aisle, find 50 of something in a clearance aisle at 50 cents a piece. That's, and then run to the next one. And oh my gosh, there's 50 more there. And then run to the next one. Oh my gosh, there's 50 more there. Right. I mean, it just doesn't happen that way. So I think what happens is especially with new sellers, you because you're buying more product in volume to make it worth it for you to send in to Amazon. Like in Amazon, you know, you to send in one box and to send in, I don't know, I don't even care, a 12 by 10 by 8 box, it's not worth it, right? Because how much stuff are you going to fit in there, right? You get good shipping rates with Amazon, but you got to be able to, get a nice size box, fill it to the gills, and have multiple boxes so that you're paying, $9 for a box. So at the end of the day, you're paying only 50 cents shipping and everything. But I think what happens with a lot of new sellers is they're spending $8, $9, $10 on some items. And a lot of new sellers, they expect it. Look, hey, if I send it into Amazon, it's going to sell in a day. I think that's just what the mentality is, right? Because we see Amazon everywhere. And we see Amazon on the commercials. We see, how many times, you see Amazon coming down the road where you live and everything. And what happens, and what I think happens is you get the panic and they get the, it's like the Jerry Maguire, show me the money. And all of a sudden the price goes, and now, and some of them are losing money or they're making a penny.
I have seen where when you look at the FBA fees might be $4.36, and they're selling their item for $3.89.
Right.
I'm like, you are paying Amazon to sell your item. Like, I don't know if people are just looking to dump something and they'd rather just take $1 loss, or if they just don't even know, or if it's a repricer that's gone bad or what. But sometimes I'll see that and I think, how can I even compete with you? And I've learned just to hold out and wait. If it's a good enough selling product, they'll let them sell out at their low bottom price. And at some point, the price will come back up. Even when it comes to Amazon jumping on a listing, especially right now, Amazon jumps on a listing and the items are gone so fast. I was watching, I think it was NBC News last night, and they were interviewing, I think it was the CEO of Clorox. And he was saying how they are just pumping out Clorox liquid bleach, the Clorox wipes. Like I think they've increased their capacity by only 30%. I say only, I'm sure it's still a lot though, but by 30%. But they're saying, like, he's like, yeah, we can't even keep it in stock. Like, we send it to brick and mortar stores, and then he used a different terminology, but brick and mortar, but then we're sending it to online vendors, which I immediately was thinking Amazon. He goes, but it goes live on their site and it's gone within seconds.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way it is with so many Amazon items, that even if you just hold out, sometimes if Amazon jumps on, they'll sell out in your price. You'll still get what you want for your price.
Yeah. And I think, there's a lot of other things that people don't look at, when they're looking at Amazon, and here's the thing, that you could get, bit in the butt really bad is, when you scan something at Amazon and you're looking at the FBA price, well, they usually show you the lowest FBA price. But if Amazon is on that and they're $2 cheaper, they don't show you that price. That's not what the low price is. Amazon is the low price. So a lot of people go, oh, this thing is ranked, 100,000 out of a category, that has, 8 million. Wow, this is a good rank. And they're like, man, $14.99. I'm only paying $2. It's a light item. Holy cow, I'm making, $10 an item and everything. Well, the problem is no, you're not selling because you're at $14.99. Amazon's at $11.99, but they don't show you that. So unless Amazon's going to share the buy box,
right? Well, sometimes you have to look, because
there.
if you're scanning it with the Amazon app, the very first column is Amazon's price. Then it's FBM, and then it's FBA.
Yeah.
But when it fills up the price up above, it doesn't always fill it with the Amazon price, I think is what you're saying. Yeah. So you kind of really have to know how to read that screen.
Yeah, because when you look at that, when you look at that top one on the left, that's what they base the fees and the profit off of.
Right.
They don't use the Amazon one. So again, if Amazon is $3 less, a lot of times, you have to wait for Amazon to go out of stock before then maybe, you get the buy box at the $3 high, $3 higher. But it's interesting. I mean, Amazon is, like I said, I like it. It's frustrating at times, but it's frustrating for me, not the platform or anything like that. It's just, finding enough in a short period of time, to make it worth it for me to go ahead and send in. And
So you're not one of those. So you're not one of those part-time resellers that's working their way up, hoping to do full-time at some time. You're pretty happy with staying full-time at a regular job and just doing this part-time.
My goal has basically become to build Amazon and eBay up enough so that basically so to help me where I can, when my job is where I know I can retire and not have to work anymore, I don't need that income. It's the eBay, Amazon income really to pay for health insurance.
Right.
That's really where that's really what I would like to get at with that. I'd like to be able to, because if through, financial planning and everything like that, I'm able to retire at, I don't know, financially saying, hey, you got enough money where you can walk away and I'm 59, 60, 61. But, but health insurance, what is it? Medicare, Medicaid, whichever one that is, doesn't kick in, until whatever, 64, 65. I don't want to have to work there because I'm afraid of, how much it's going to cost, just because of insurance.
Right.
I want to be able to walk away when I want to, walk away and stuff when I am financially, and they say, oh, guess what? If you walk away at this age, you're going to have enough money to last you until you're 95 years old. Then when they tell me I can be that age, when I turn that age, I walk into wherever I'm working and I'm going, hey, here's my phone. Here's my laptop. Thank you very much. I'm going to grab my pictures. I'm out.
So Maggie said that's a great goal. Yeah, and I agree, because I think the thing is you don't want to be somebody who has to work at Walmart, or like my father-in-law still works at a tourist farm in Vermont, and he drives the bus around and stuff. And I don't want to have to do something like that. So the idea that you're thinking about it now and not waiting until you're 62, 63 and your employer says, see ya, bye, time to retire.
Right.
And you're like, how am I going to pay for all these other expenses? Yeah, that's a good goal. Yeah. So would you say that you prefer the fast nickel or the slow dime?
I go for the medium 7.5%.
Or the average of 7.5. Do a little bit of a mixture.
You know what? It depends on the velocity of the product. And that's where I think that, and that's, to me, that's where the big difference is between your Amazon and your eBay is. Amazon, a lot of times you can afford to take a little less because you're getting so much of one product. And if I can sell 40 of, if I could sell 40 of these in a week and I only make $4 on each one, I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? Because they're going quick. On eBay, I try and go ahead, and be a lot more fair. Like I'll have a tendency to hold out more on eBay for something than I will on Amazon. And I think a lot of that has to do because in eBay, it's right over there. Like my product is right back over there. Like your product is right behind you, right? So I'm not worrying about keeping something and getting that little notification from Amazon. You have slow moving product and you're going to get, long-term fees.
Right. Yeah.
So from that standpoint, I look at I look at it that way. But I won't, like, I'm not one of those ones where if I have something listed for $50 and I'm the only one who has that product, okay, if you want it, you're going to come a lot closer to 50 than I am, let's say, to 25 or 30. You know what I'm saying, from that standpoint. Like, I don't mind the fast nickel, But to me, but if I have something and I know what I have, I had a CD that was brand new, sealed, and as far as I could tell, on Amazon, on Discogs, on eBay. I looked at Mercari, but I really wasn't selling on Mercari then. I was the only one who had a sealed copy of this CD. So I said, you know what? Someone's going to pay. So I put it out there for $199.
Wow.
I paid $2.72 for it. And I wound up, I said, you know what? I knew that was that was ludicrous price. I mean, it was like, because they were opened ones that people were selling for like 100. So once you see
but even 100 for an open one,
exactly. Yeah. And once you see an open one for 100, you go, well, hell, I'm doubling for mine. That's
yeah.
And I had people, and I would have people email me on eBay going, "You're crazy." I'm like, okay, thank you very much.
We'll see how crazy. Yeah.
I'll offer you 50. And I would say, and I would go ahead and I would counter at $198.99. If you're going to go ahead and if you're going to do something like that, I'm going to play the game right back with you. And
I do the same thing. I do the same thing because if I have listed something for $199 and someone's offering me $50, I don't even really want them as my buyer.
Right.
Move on, because most likely you're going to complain about something anyhow and then try and get it for even cheaper. You want a partial refund.
Yeah.
So I'll be like you and I'll be like, I'll $199, $198. Yeah, I'll just a penny. Sometimes you have a penny less or something, but just to get out of my hair, go off. I don't like to block people on eBay, but
yeah.
So
I thought, okay, I'll probably get, I'm thinking, what, hell, if someone comes along and offers me in the 140s or 150, I'm going to take it. I'm like, that's fine. 272 into 140. That's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a guy send me an email on this and say, hey, I'd like to offer you, I'd like to make an offer for you, but I know one of the guys in the band, and they're supposed to be re-releasing this come October. So I said, okay, that's fine. I said, I'm not giving it away, so it'll still be here, and this was probably like in the middle of August. So I said, do me a favor. In all honesty, I said, if it gets re-released, would you do me a favor and send me an email? Because obviously if it gets re-released, the value of mine is going to go down and everything. So the guy's like, yeah, no problem. I will. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. So October 1st comes, literally October 1st. And I see an email from the guy and I'm like, oh man, I'm probably going to be bummed out. This is ridiculous. So the guy emails me and he says, hey, just want to let you know, they're not re-releasing that. Are you still open to offers on your CD? I was like, yeah, sure. He goes, okay, thanks.
Never heard from him?
No, 2 hours later, $165 offer.
Oh, wow.
Bing, accept, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And I replied back, and I will upgrade your shipping to priority.
For that kind of thing, you want to to have that extra insurance coverage.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
So I mean, so that's what I'm saying. That's, but that's, there's so many people, they go for the fast nickel when you don't have to, because what people fail to realize is this: if you have something, especially if you're going for like the popular item, whatever it may be. But if the going price is $50 and there's one guy that comes in and goes, well, I'll show everybody, I'm going to sell mine for $45. And then all of a sudden somebody else goes out and they find that product and they go, I'll show all them. I'll sell mine for $40.
Right.
And then the next thing you know, 3 other people go ahead and find this. And now the price is $35. And you're like, what are you doing? You just cost yourself $20. It was selling all day long for $50.
Yeah.
Why are you going to, and but I think that's the thing, is that people get scared.
Yeah, I think it's scared. Plus, I also think it's just the people like you and I, when we first started off just selling stuff from our home. So we were just like, I just want to get rid of it. It's
Right.
not really a business. It's just it's not even a hobby.
Yeah.
They just maybe sell 3 things a year. They're not even selling that many items. So they're just kind of getting rid of them.
Yep.
Well, listen, we're up. It's 4 o'clock here on the East Coast. And so we've been an hour. I did want to thank Dana. She shared a link to your channel.
Thank you very much,
And, but
Dana.
before we wrap up, I actually wanted you to what? I'm not going to ask you anything crazy. And I actually wanted you to talk about why you decided to start a YouTube channel. And I know that you do a show on Wednesday night, so I was going to give you a chance to plug that show and how that came about, and just a little bit about your YouTube channel stuff.
Well, honestly, if I have to tell you the God's honest truth, I did it because I want to be famous.
Oh, there you go.
So after that plan I knew was not going to work, I came up with another plan. Just to have fun and honestly share information and have fun, on YouTube. I honestly can tell you, I mean, I've never thought about trying to build a YouTube channel to get to the point to where, it is a money making thing where it becomes part of, I didn't release a video today. Let me make something up about, I folded laundry today. Let me go ahead and make a video on it because, you have to post a video every day to stay into the,
Yeah.
I don't want to get to that point, and it's even the same thing with eBay and Amazon. I don't want to be a big seller. I don't want to be a big eBay seller either, because I want to go on vacation. I don't want to worry about, stores on vacation, all that kind of stuff, But YouTube, like I said, I just wanted to try it. I wanted to have fun with it, just talk to people and stuff like that, and, a lot of times it helps you, again, share and learn, because just as much as you share, you're going to learn also from other people just by, talking to them. And by the stuff in the chat, Brian throwing stuff out there. Hey, you don't forget about video games, used computer parts. I mean, honestly, I got a box of used computer parts in my garage. Now that's awesome. And it stinks, because now it's another thing I got to go ahead and look up if anything is worth anything. So thanks, Brian.
One of the things that's nice though is I think that there's a nice reselling community in YouTube. And I know you've been watching some channels that I've been watching too, and that's actually how we connected with one another, was by watching the Bearded Picker.
Yep.
And we joined his Facebook group and got connected that way. That it's nice because then you met the Buffalo Picker. So then when you see these Barbies, you know who to reach out to. And I think there's just such a great community here that it really helps you when you find people with certain niches that you can reach out to them when you have a question about something you just don't know. So when you're going through those old computer parts, reach out to Brian and be like, hey, what is this? What does it go to? I mean, I don't know. You may know, but I would be like, what does this even go to?
Not really. I'm not a software guy. I'm not a, computer. I do work in the IT field, but I'm in what they call a level 1 infrastructure engineer. So I deal with a lot of the stuff I deal with is more from a construction standpoint of making sure that if you want to have a computer in a certain location, that everything is there needed for it, that the desk is there, that the power is there, the data line is there, and then then back in the computer room that there's that you can make the connection and everything. So that's called layer 1. So basically, when you plug it in and you turn it on and it touches the network and says have a network connection, I'm done. If you can't log on, if your programs don't work, you got to get on the phone and call the help desk. But like I said, but from a YouTube standpoint, honestly, I mean, it was really just about sharing, getting to know more people. I think another thing that YouTube helps with is reselling can be lonely. Because it's there are not a lot of like John Nevermore Antiques. He does this as part of his thing. His family does it and stuff like that. There are not a lot of husband and wives or boyfriends, girlfriends. I mean, there are, but there's not as many as you think there are, that do this together. So you make, it's a lot of human interaction, because, you go into a store and if you're going to go hunt something and you're going to have to hit, 5 or 6 stores, you don't, what I'm saying?
I'm sorry, I just hit the button and took you out of the stream for a second there.
You don't talk to anybody. So you're you're by yourself or everything. So YouTube is a way for that and stuff. And like I said,
I'm still, hold on just a minute, Mike. I'm still live.
I know.
On YouTube.
I just wanted to see what you were doing.
Okay, my husband just walked in, so I just wanted to let him know I was still live on YouTube.
So that was the thing for really doing YouTube and everything, and really more to share and to give back. I mean, there were people who took time, to teach me some stuff. So the next generation of people who are coming in, if I can go ahead and help somebody out, I can. I don't look for anything. I don't need anything. I don't want anything. To me, if somebody, what's cool is when, and I know like people that I, learn from and stuff. And when I went back to them and said, hey man, I went out and I found this, they're like, oh, cool. And to give somebody an idea and they you give them a couple of tips and tricks on how to go ahead and navigate a thrift store, and they go in and they never thought about looking at shoes, but they go look at shoes and they're a set, sitting there as a pair of shoes that they're going to spend $6 on. They're going to sell them for $50, $60. I mean, that's cool. It's cool to help people. And that's why I looked at it and everything. And I've been fortunate enough, and you mentioned, yes, we've started a live show on Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. Called That Reselling Show. It's myself, John Nevermore Antiques, and Oscar El Cubanazo. And we're trying to make this show definitely have an educational part to it. It's not a bolo show. It's not a, hey, look what we found type thing. We're really trying to go ahead and, and talk about topics to help somebody learn and make them think about something that they may not have thought of. We did a shipping one last week. Last night on my channel, we did how do you navigate a thrift store? When you go in, do you have a plan? Do you not have a plan? Do you start in the front right and work your way to the back left, or do you hit specific areas and stuff like that? So, I mean, that's what we do. It's pretty cool. Those are two great guys and stuff. They're fun to go ahead and talk to. We really enjoy each other's, company and everything and stuff. And we're hoping to go ahead and, just keep it going and stuff. So
I watched it. And I mean, and it's 10 p.m. at night. That's so late for me. And I know every week I say to you, I'll try and log on. If I can be awake at 10, I'll log on. I think one time I did make it on. I said hi. You guys may have said hi back. And then I was like, all right, now I got to go back. I didn't even watch the content. But I watched your recordings later. And, and trying to leave a comment and stuff. And I do wish that I could be active because there was so many things I was like, oh, I wanted to say this in the chat if I would have been there, but I wasn't there. I do appreciate that you guys are having reselling topics because there's so many reselling shows that are out there which don't even talk reselling. They just kind of all sit around and chit chat, but there's not really any reselling. Every now and then I'll pick up a little small nugget. And I'm finding there's less and less of those shows that are actually talking reselling where I can learn something. And I'm not a beginner anymore, so I'm kind of looking for that next level of learning. And it's been hard to kind of find that in this realm of YouTube right now.
Well, yeah, and that's the way we looked at it. Whether you're watching live, like the people do, or you watch it afterwards, it doesn't make a difference. It's still about, the way I look at it is that if you're going to take, however long it is out of your day. Now, if the show's an hour and you watch 15 minutes, 12 minutes, or the full hour, to me, I feel it's a responsibility that you should gain something from that. Because, you're taking time away from doing, if you're a reseller, you think about it. If you sit down in front of a computer and you go on a YouTube and you're watching, there's a lot of times you're taking time out of your business. Because when you're a reseller, you don't really have that. I work this hour to this hour and then I completely stop, right?
Yeah.
You work and work. So if you're going to come and you're going to watch me on a show, I need to go ahead and say something. I need to go ahead and make sure that you come away with some kind of value. Hopefully it is because you come back and watch more and gain more and more knowledge, and then become a guest, say, hey, I've watched you guys, and man, you would not believe some of the stuff I've done, and so on and so forth and everything. And then you wind up, what's cool about also, doing the show and doing YouTube is you meet people that you would never meet before. Craig.
I would never meet Oscar in Miami. Like I would never, that's not somebody I would normally just run into and even start having a conversation with. I'm in New York, he's in Florida. So
and people come in and everything, and then you meet really, you meet people, you talk to people via, the different mediums and stuff, and you get friendships. I don't know if people consider them friendships, you do, but you wind up getting those. Some people that you may never even see, or you may see them, they may never see you, but you see them just because you watch them on YouTube, but they don't see you because you're just, you're a guest, you're watching, you're commenting, and so on and so forth, and then you have, you have Dana, you have Maggie, and you start seeing them all in places and everything, and it's cool. And you say, hey, hello, and they say, hey, how you doing? And it's cool.
Yeah, I really like it. And things like your show and a few other shows that I watch, I like that. Like this morning I watched while I was packaging. So I actually didn't even watch. I really just listened because you were in the tab behind my eBay shipping screen while I was grabbing stuff. So I would listen, and then if you showed something, I'm trying to think if there was a time when somebody did show something. Oh, t-shirt.
Yeah, Johnny.
John showed a t-shirt. So I remember at one time I was like, oh, and I hurry up and clicked the tab so I could see what he was showing. And then when he was done, I went back to, not watching, but then back to grabbing my stuff and packaging. So, I think there's so many times that you can listen to a show and just listen to it. You don't have to actually visually be watching it because there's just so much good content that you can grab from something. So I appreciate you guys putting that show together, and I wish you much success with it.
Thank you very much. And and hopefully, it just keeps moving along. And we're able to just again bring value and stuff. But just to go ahead and as a point, you talk about the reselling community, and Dana said it simply. I love the reselling community. And what is amazing is this. Dana, Jennifer Hayes, even like Craig, the Land Shark Picker, or some of these guys. I didn't know them. Sam, the Dapper Tiger. I didn't know them from anything. And here they are. That I get invited into I get invited into an Instagram group and everything, and and we're all talking and stuff. And they're like, "Man, you gotta watch Michael. You gotta watch this. You gotta watch that. Boom, boom. So on and so forth. And hey, and you see them. They jump on, and you have Dana and Maude, and all of a sudden, and Jennifer Hayes, and all of a sudden, and it's just like, it's amazing. I just think it's cool the way it is, and it's funny. What I've noticed is that it I hate to use the word little, but it's the smaller sellers, it's the smaller part of the community that really seems to care the most. You get to the bigger ones, the 100,000, the 70,000, the big, 80, those guys, they seem to go ahead and start to turn away from what got them to where they are. And that's why I think you get the show where it's, okay, the topic is they put a 2-hour show on, and they spoke for that topic for 15 minutes, and then everything else is about, where they're going to get a biscuit to eat, or what they're going to do for lunch, or hey, so on and so forth and everything. And those are good. They're filler stuff, so you can put that in the background if you just have noise and everything. But I think the community that I've helped, that I've become a part of, with a lot of like I said, like with the Danas and the Jens and like yourselves, and Craig and Dapper Tiger and all that. It's weird. It's smaller, yet it's bigger in people, right? It's bigger in the number of people, but it's smaller because it truly is a caring of watching each other become successful.
Yeah, I gotta just jump in and say, because I used to and I still watch some of those bigger people, not as often as I used to, but I stumbled upon the Adventures in Reselling with Victoria.
She's
And
such a sweet lady,
a few weeks ago, yep, she did an interview with the Bearded Picker, which brought me to her channel. And she has, which that's where I know like Simply Dana from. There's so many loyal people that go in and chat in her every morning at 7:30 thing, and I've been kind of hanging out there, and I really liked it. And actually, she interviewed the Dapper Tiger yesterday, which I haven't seen his channel. I ended up subscribing to him yesterday, and I haven't watched any videos yet, but I definitely want to, because what an interesting guy. He has a PhD, like he's a doctor.
I know. And he does mushrooms.
He grows mushrooms, yeah.
And his wife grows shrimp.
I know. I was just and they're having a baby, and I was just like, okay, this is somebody I really want to check out. But yeah, he's one of those smaller. I say smaller sellers. I don't really know what he does for selling, how much he sells, but he's smaller on YouTube,
right?
And I'm really embracing that and really enjoying that, because you get to a certain size, and I think they do just focus more on what's the next YouTube video I can put up, because I'm making $100,000 a year on YouTube and I need to continue that income. Yep. And it really starts to kind of push into that. And I still watch some of those people because I enjoy the content, and I kind of like to give back by giving the numbers, by still watching them and having that noise in the background sometimes, just so they continue to get that ad revenue.
Yep.
Because I appreciate the information I've learned from like Rally Roots. When I was really first going into full time, I started watching them 3 years ago, and I think they were somewhat new too in the field of everything. And I just learned so much because they were constantly putting out videos. And now I find most of their videos are more, basic level. So they're still really for the new person starting out, but I'll still watch. I love YouTube. It's my background noise. It's what I listen to all day long when I'm sitting here listing or packaging or whatever I'm doing, taking photos.
Yeah.
I have it on the background. So, well, I should
let you go. One last thing.
Oh yeah, sure.
And if you want to, tomorrow morning, I'm supposed to be on Ecom and Beyond with with Anthony and Nate. Those are two good guys also. So
okay, yeah, I put that in my book at 10 a.m.
That's early for you, so you should be able to make it.
That's late for me. 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
10 a.m. I can't make 10 p.m. I'm up at 4 a.m.
Yeah, I know. But thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate the friendship that we've built over the last year.
It's hard to believe it's been a year already.
I know, it is amazing. I was going to explain how we knew each other, but didn't get a chance to do that. But yeah, I'm really glad from the group of friends that I've met over the last year, just from the group that we met in.
Yeah.
So I did want to let all my viewers know, all maybe 3 or 4 of you that are still hanging around, that next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, I will be interviewing Jess Hill from Ladies of FBA and Ecom Empowerment. She will be a guest on this channel. And then the Tuesday after that, which is the 19th at 3 p.m., I will be having a chat with Jason T. Smith from the Thrifting Board and the Secret Beach. as well as his YouTube channel. He's got a pretty good following on there. And then I'm also having a talk with the Bearded Picker, Scott. He will be on the 20. I really got to get a calendar. I probably can take one out of. I can have a Marilyn Monroe and a Peanuts one in my tote there. All I have is one I printed off a computer. The 26th of May. So every Tuesday at 3. I know today's Thursday, but it's going to be switching to Tuesdays at 3. And I will be having a show here interviewing different resellers and just kind of getting some tips from them and how they do their business.
Yeah, my Walmart still has some of those calendars on clearance now for like $1.
I know. I'm like, should I drop my price? I sold a Marilyn Monroe calendar on Amazon. It went to a prison and it got returned because I'm a third party.
Shawshank Redemption, was it part 2?
I'm a third party seller, so I'm not an authorized seller to go into the prison. So it came back. So yeah, so I have it. I got it back. I was all excited. I'm like, yay, I sold another calendar in May, or actually it was April. So yeah, I probably will just break one open. I actually broke open a so I was selling these. I have some on eBay still, and I broke one of these open yesterday and said, okay, I'm going to start a calendar here of what's going on with YouTube and my scheduling. And I like to write stuff down, and I can't keep track of all the little notes that I've had written down lately. So.
I hear you.
All right. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for stopping by. And for Michael, I appreciate it. And I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. on Ecom.
You got it. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.